Jacques Roland is a senior research fellow at the Global Policy Institute. I asked him what President Macron had got wrong in this election.
Oh, many things. First thing, he did not really campaign. He thought that normally, as is usually the case, once the president is elected, then the nation gives him a majority in the parliament, because in France, a president with no majority in parliament can't really govern properly. If he has a full majority, he is all-powerful. Otherwise, he depends on other parties' cooperation, which is unlikely to be the case given the radical nature of the opposition parties, notably the left and the National Rally. But funnily enough, this election is actually a true representation of the French democratic situation, where we have now a three-party system in France. We have on one very radical left, on the other side a radical right, and in the middle a big center. But the big surprise that the center has shrunk.
So now Macron's lost his majority. He has to rely on other parties to get his planned reforms through. How damaging will that be to how his supporters see him?
They will think that he's lost his touch, but the main problem for him is that it will make France very hard to govern. And the reforms he wanted to implement, his program, he will be in a very hard position. It will be very difficult for him to put into practice. So at the moment, it's very difficult to know how other parties will react, whether they're ready to collaborate with him on some policies, i.e. on some policies it could turn to the right. And actually, that's where he has potentially a reserve supply of votes, is among the Republican right. Maybe in the first year, he will have to govern on a case-by-case basis. Some measures adopted with the votes of the soft left, as opposed to the hard left, some measures adopted with the backing of the hard right. But it makes it difficult to see that this parliament lasting much longer. It's very likely that in 1 year or two, the government will find itself in an impossible situation and will be voted down, and eventually new elections will have to take place for the National Assembly.